Hello all! This week I want to dive into something I find a lot of artists are not doing, but that is critical, guys, to your success. So stay tuned, buckle up, I'm going to break this one down. Hopefully you find some helpful things within this, and let's do it. All right, all. So here in the United States, where I'm based, it is coming up on Thanksgiving. And I don't know if you're coming from another country, there is a time when you all take some time to give thanks. And I'm bringing this up because it can be like, at least for me, I always feel around this time, there's a sense of gratitude. There's a sense of, in the ear that the year is coming to an end, and where I am, New England, it's a little colder. Things are changing. So not only can you feel this kind of mental shift because of we're coming towards the end of the year, but also you're seeing the physical change in the world. So it kind of just sets things apart, right? And I also find it has always been for me just a moment when we're thinking of family or friends or loved ones, and kind of coming together and celebrating, or even just remembering those if we can't be together. It's just that element of that togetherness, right? And celebration and gratitude. And so I'm bringing this up because I feel like a lot of times with artists, and this again for myself is very true, is it can be like, what are our goals? What are the kinds of things that we are working towards, right? And how do we make that happen? And what are the things that almost we are working to improve upon ourselves, but there's not always a ton of time to self-reflect and go, dang, like I've done a lot, or I've accomplished this goal, whatever spectrum that may be on, a small goal, a big goal. Like, I think it is crucial that there are seasons within the year, seasons of our life, that we take time to express the gratitude for what we do have, right? Rather than focusing in on what we don't have or where we're not, really taking that time to sit in where we were and where we are. And even if you're not where you want to be, because most people, you probably hear this over and over, once they hit one goal, it's like they're on to the next thing. And I don't know if we always take the time to really celebrate within that goal that we've done that, right? So it's almost like we don't always take that time to really view and go, hey, no, from where I've started to where I'm at, that is like drastically, or even just on whatever element to a certain extent, better than where you were, right? And I think what that does and why that's important is because it instills a confidence, right? A sense of self-accomplishment. And that's really, really important that we do that for ourselves, right? We can beat ourselves up enough as artists, but just as people in general. I find that could be a commonality, right? It's like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing enough, right? Especially in a fast-paced world where we're constantly stimulated. It's like taking that time to really go, wait a second here. Maybe it was a small thing like, hey, you know what, in the beginning of the year, I wasn't even in a mindset to research or to start to get myself to a place of understanding how to get better, right? That's an improvement. But for others, it's like, hey, in the beginning of the year, I had a goal, like I wasn't even performing, and now I'm doing open mics, right? And your goal may be that you want to perform for major stadiums, right? And you're not there, but like whatever stepping stone it is, guys, I want you to take a moment. I would really, really love as an exercise for you to take some time. And if you're not doing this as a daily practice, at least right now, and write out 10 things you are grateful for. Right? To the smallest things, I do this practice, and it's like that cup of coffee. Oh, my coffee. I'm so grateful every morning for my coffee. But honestly, and for me, coming from a point, well, I go back to, I say that, and you might see it like coffee, but even in this part of life that I'm in, there was a moment when I was in getting chemo, and coffee just was really, really bad, and I've always loved coffee. So for my taste buds to come back and to really appreciate non-hospital coffee and really good, finding good sources of like organic mold-free coffee, like, hey, that's an accomplishment. And if you're finding like in the music world that you haven't, there's not all of those things because you're just starting your journey, you can find those things to be grateful for. And those things in those moments of where you were and where you come to, and even just for me in that story that I gave there, it is given so much more meaning to just a simple cup of coffee. And that to me has instilled such gratitude. So now in the small things, if I can find that gratitude and celebrate that, gosh, when I hit bigger things, it's like, woohoo, right? But it is a practice. It's something that we need to do, is find the gratitude in the small things. And because we can definitely more so than not find gratitude and be inspired and be encouraged and gain that sense of confidence from completing a cycle, right? Or doing something there from the big things, because it's a little bit more obvious. But how about those small things? So don't minimize this exercise if you feel like, oh man, my major goals have not been met, because sometimes with big goals, it takes years, right? But I would encourage you to embrace and acknowledge and sit in that gratitude of what you have been able to accomplish. And then, sit in that a bit. Have a moment with it. Have some time to really think upon that. And that's really important for artists, because I think it allows us to move forward with confidence that we can do things, right? And that we're not always not in the part that we want, or that we're not always getting the things that we, that we're not at, right? So take that time, really sense that gratitude, really reflect upon where you've been and where you are, and that can be on all kinds of elements, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever it may be, and build off of that, right? I remember hosting a seminar with Desi Oakley. She is a Broadway star. She's done national tours, and I remember doing this with her, and it was a really great reinforcement of this idea that I'm talking about. And so many times we focus on what we, again, don't have or what we're working towards, but how about taking a moment to reflect on what we do have and then building out from that, right? Rather than thinking of like from the other way around, like, okay, what do I not have and how am I going to do that? But like, what are my strengths? Am I a great performer? Am I a great singer? Am I both of those things? Am I a great songwriter? And we're all going to have things that we want to improve upon. And that's kind of the journey though, right? If you don't have things to improve upon, I guess that could be kind of like, we made it, we're there. So, wash the hands, walk away kind of deal. I think that's what kind of keeps it intriguing and fun. So, really taking some time to find 10 things that you're grateful for, and then 10 of your strengths on the other end of that. Like, what are things that I'm really, really good at? And what are the things that, how can you build off of that? Are you really, really good at talking with people? Maybe for your band, you can be the one who books the gigs. You could be the social advisor kind of deal, right? So, and we don't always stop, again, when we're focusing so much on the things that we want to improve upon, taking that time to build off of what we already are solid on, and then building from that end of it. So I hope as we go into this holiday, at least here in the United States, we go into this holiday, or if you're finding this video at a different time in the season or life, I think it's applicable for year round, but I'm just feeling that sense right now as I am gearing up for the holidays. So I hope for you all that you do take this time and reflect and congratulate yourself for where you're at right now. And that could be big, small, middle, whatever it may be, what kind of steps. But I'm grateful, and I'm going to say this, and this is sincere. I am super, super grateful for all of you that continue to just support me on whatever channel it may be. And I hope, really, really hope in some kind of way that I'm helping you as well, and that we continue to just grow together. Because sometimes, guys, talking through this stuff, as much as it is equally hopefully valuable to you. It comes from the heart, and it is equally valuable for me. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this audience and this community, and I hope it continues to grow and we can learn and flourish and prosper together. So on that note, over and out, guys.